think the album's dope. I put my young OG, AG Cubano on one of the records. I got King Problem. I got most of the guys that I've dealt with, a couple of new guys, and Richie Rich is all over there singing choruses and verses because he produced majority of that. And I wanted to showcase his talent too. So the Cuban Connection, the album dropped on January 6th. We dropped, the first single was December 4th at De Chango. We dropped Plug in Cuba. And then at Dia San Lazaro, which was December 17th, we dropped Babalu Aye, which I got a dope feedback from that video and that record, which is dope. And then on the Dia de los Reyes, which is the Three Kings Day,
January 6th.
I had a little situation with the album. It didn't drop at midnight. I had to call the president what's going on. But by the end of that day, it was out mostly everywhere. And that was dope. As an independent artist, it's about getting the projects out there. And we're going to keep shooting videos. I think it's the number 2 track on the album's called Ella, produced by Prida.
One of my favorite.
Hey, but that video's dropping on Valentine's. That video's a dope ass. So
that's good timing right there. Is a video?
Well, again, everything I do has to do with dates and timing and how you.
Yeah, San Lázaro, Babalu. I see it.
Yeah, and it's on the specific dates. And if you're Latino, you kind of know. If you're Cuban, you really know. But it's kind of what it is with us as Latinos, whether you're Mexican, Nicaraguan, from Argentina, we're kind of in the United States, we're kind of all mixed in together. Yeah. And we figure out how to live together depending on what part of the country you live on. There's more of others than, Miami, there's more Cubans. I'm in Union City, New Jersey most of the time, a bunch of Cubans, even though, but I'm originally from Washington Heights, where all my Dominicans I grew up with. I graduated from George Washington High School, so it's a dope experience to be able to. I think my music and that reflects. I'm an OG, so I grew up with R&B and Barry White and a lot of the original Cold Crush and a lot of original hip hop heads, and so I'm blessed. I still, in my career, I'm still able to drop music, and that's because of what we were saying before, technology.
Technology, bro, and that's reflected in the album, bro. I feel like there's a couple dope ass fucking classic samples on there.
Yeah, and that's to do to Richie, and I'm able to tell him something and bounce an idea off of him, and he runs with it. And the Babalu Aye song, at first he didn't know. It took him like 2 weeks, like San Lázaro. I said, and then he just came with that, and I said, that's it. He was like, for real? So we're able to kind of, it's dope for me to still deal with young talent. He's a dude that looks up to me, and the beautiful thing about it is I'm a fan of all of them. I'm a fan. It's kind of like being in the league and you're Tom Brady, but you respect Lamar Jackson, even though he's a young quarterback. You say, yo, he's doing something, but he's killing it. So it's kind of respecting the young guys who are coming in with their sound. And when you show dudes love and respect, you usually get it back and you build a relationship. And that's what I try to do. I'm always trying to help.
Yo, that's important because there's a lot of dudes like some of the old school dudes that are not as willing to like rock with the younger dudes and kind of meet them halfway with this shit. I feel like because you're willing to do that, and it shows like on the album. Like I said, there's like a new sound. What was the song that we were just listening to? H, I forget the name of it.
On My Own.
On My Own.
Yeah.
That got like a really new, like the sound behind it is like really new. Like it's
yeah. I mean, we On My Own. I think that was with Problem, right?
Yeah, that's with Problem.
Yeah, and I think that's Richie coming up with ideas, and he came up with that with Problem, and I said, yo, I need that. Let's add this to the album. And I think that's kind of what the album's about. Being a Latino and being able to do 9 tracks, and I think 4 or 5 of them are in English. Some of them, most of them Spanish, bilingual, but they all mean something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Plug in Cuba's a dope record that's really continuing to build. And I think, part of doing classic albums or projects is in today's day and age, there is no, as an independent, there is no pressure for first week sales and all. It's about putting out great work in the art and continuing to push it and use independent platforms. I'm grateful to be using your platform. I know we've been trying to get together, but look, the timing was now. I actually have a project. I have a bunch of things to talk about
Yeah.
But it's about that. It's about independence and putting out your music and not censoring yourself. And I think if I was with a label, I could have never put out an album like this.
Yo,
So
there's a couple history lessons in that album too, bro. I feel like
Yeah,
yes.
history
again,
shows
I realize you guys are kind of connoisseurs of the music, and you're kind of
Mhm.
understanding what I'm putting together, and how hard it is to do it, but at the same time, for someone like myself, I'm able to spot talent and say, let's try to do something different to push the Cuban Connection momentum and do something to unify. Even though I dropped a dope project similar to this. If you get a chance, listen to it. I dropped the S.P.I.C. I have a movement called S.P.I.C. Spanish People in Control is called. And I dropped the S.P.I.C. album, The Plug, in 2017, kind of like this compilation, bunch of dope artists. And I'm going to continue to work on the S.P.I.C. Cartel. That'll be coming up. So those are projects that I continue to do that are compilations that I keep. I love to spit, but I don't want to do, I'm working on a solo album. I've been working on it. It's called Propiedad Intelectual, but I don't think I'm going to give you 10, 12 songs. I just don't, me personally, even though I know people putting a ton of content, I'll hit you with 6, 7 songs, keep it moving, go in and out, because you can't really, look, the number one artist last year was Bad Bunny, and he dropped 3 albums.
3 albums.
So unless you're willing to drop 3 albums a year, look, right now, let me tell you how crazy what Bad Bunny did, that Anuel and Ozuna had to get together to drop 1 album.
Yeah, bro.
Let that sink in.
Like
I'm saying, let that sink in, though. They had to come together to drop 1 album, which is dope. The movement needed that. I think it's dope. But just to let you know, just to create content, because you got to keep up with the content.
Anuel was close to hanging it up and not doing music. He performed at the Latin Grammys and he was like, "This is my last song. I'm not doing this no more." And he thanked Ozuna, and I think Ozuna baited him back, like, "Listen, let's do this project."
Well, I want you to understand. I think at that moment he was going through some personal stuff with his woman.
Yeah.
This game, when you get to the top of this game, you start to realize that it's not what everything meant out to be.
Yeah.
When you can buy a Bugatti or Ferrari or Wimari or Kukari or whatever the fuck you can buy, you can have it. If you get on a phone call, everyone tells you yes. Everyone laughs. You can fart, everyone laughs. You can tell a joke that's not funny. Right? You start to realize, like, wait a second. Right? And you heard it from Bad Bunny. You heard it from my bad. That's my daughter. Give me 1 second. Yo, tell Desiree I'm in the corner. Tell Desiree I'm doing this. Yo, so you see, you look at Bad Bunny and you see situations where, they kind of, it doesn't turn out to be, right? So let me tell you, it's the question. All your dreams came true. Now what?
You're
Right,
not happy.
but think about it. You got dreams. They got whatever the dreams. So say about all those dreams you have, they come true. Now what do you do with your day?
Yeah.
Right? Like you post anything, it's like, holy shit. Right? So it becomes a point when you're in that grind and everyone wants you and you're booked for the next 2 years and money's not a problem, but you're not home all the time and you're traveling and you're recording and everyone, my dude, that's a grind. That's why you don't see artists. It's hard to see artists. I don't care if you Eminem or whoever you are, they go away for 3 or 4 years and then come back because that shit is no
demanding.
joke.
And then your family life goes to
And
the
then I think as a Latino is a little bit different because you do a USA tour, you also do Central South America, you have Europe, because from a Latino aspect, like they make a lot of their money in Central South America.
Yeah, that's money on the table out there for sure.
No, I'm just saying, even I love what they've done in Dominican Republic, how they've built their own system and their own business infrastructure where they can kind of make their own money. And guys come from rags to riches in DR. You might not know their name here, but over there they're superstars. So at the end of the day, that's the power of hip hop. The one common denominator of whether it's reggaeton, dembow, Latin rap, whatever you want to call it, it still stems from the birth of hip hop of the 70s and how in the 80s the business kind of got started with Sugar Hill Gang and the other record labels, and in the 90s when gangster rap came in with Tupac and Biggie and Loud Records and you know, and then you know how, and then technology changed the 2000s, and
Where you stand on the Biggie and Tupac? What do you think about that? That like, I feel like that's a question that we don't talk about no more. I feel like this younger generation, that who's the reference now for this generation? Like, who's the Tupac and
Probably
Biggie?
gonna be Drake.
yeah,
Or
but you can't,
Kendrick
you
or
know, I
somebody
don't
like
think
that.
it's fair. I think we always do that. We kind of do it in sports with LeBron and Jordan and
Yeah.
us as humans. We always want to know who's the best, and it's like it's an era. Like if you were alive to live the Tupac and Biggie era, you have to understand that there was no social media. So when girls would see Tupac, they would faint. They would see him and go, oh, oh, and just fucking drop and faint, right? Nowadays, you can get your Instagram and you know what the artist ate this morning, where he's shopping. No, dead ass, right?
It's
So
true.
if you
That's
was to
true.
see the artist, you would just want to put it on Instagram. You're not even thinking about that. So it was a different era. Biggie would walk through. Biggie was the first one to make it cool to wear Versace and silk, and he was on that puffy, on that mobster flow, right? He was letting less gangster, more mobster. I think Biggie was trying to make it mafia, you know, John Gotti status. So it was dope to live that era, even though they ended up dying. But in everything, there's always sacrifices in the civil rights movement. You've had Malcolm and Martin Luther King, and in hip hop, you've had a ton. Even now, this, you know, from last year, Pop Smoke and all. You know, you have to understand that hip hop is the only genre of music that once you get in, you can get murdered for being a rapper.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Just the only genre. You don't
More
ever
at
see R&B. It's rare you see an R&B singer get shot, or rock and roll or country music. And mind you, all the guns in Tennessee and everything else, you'll never see. The only time you ever see artists get shot is in Mexico when they be
corridos.
doing those artists that sing those corridos. If they do the wrong one, they're not supposed to. They light them up right on stage. Brah! That's a whole different ballgame, though.
I mean,
So you know, so I think rap is the only genre of music. When you mention Biggie and Tupac, you know, they ended up being murdered, both of them. You're looking at two murder victims because of rap. So when you discuss how come the kids don't know, I think, you know, there's so much information going that kids don't really go back that far. Like, kids don't even remember Lil Wayne like that.
Yo, that's interesting. You know,
and that was right there. You know what I'm saying? That was just yesterday to me. That was right there.
And I actually feel like Lil Wayne, even though a lot of the younger dudes don't know him, I feel like he's a big influence on
what's going on now today.
You know, what's been going on the last few years. Like if you look at all the artists that came out with, you know, the kind of like the skater with the face tattoos kind of look, that's really, and the auto tune, you know, I feel like that's really, you know, a Wayne kind of influence.
Well, you know, you're talking about culture influences. That's when you influence an entire culture. And I think that most artists, they've all had their drop of the culture. Definitely Lil Wayne being from down south, from Louisiana. And if you look at the map, how Louisiana is situated, if you go west, you have Texas, and that's why Houston has a sound that also is there. If you go a little bit left, and you have Alabama, you have Mississippi on top of it. So, you know, you have to understand where it's at, and his influence, again, has been huge. And you know, you want young people today to do research and go back. And I don't really think the way hip hop has been programmed, because even when Lil Wayne was popping, people didn't really know who Big Pun and them was back then, right? Like, you know, so you can't expect, you know, you have two things that happen. You mentioned myself. You was like, hey, man, this sound is different, this and that. What I don't do is I surround myself with kids who are younger than me, and I listen, and I can spot talent. I can spot a dope beat. You know, I guess that's my own A&R ear or talent or whatever. But, you know, I can understand when someone's got something special. And I think that's why I'm able to continue to flow. I've always surrounded myself with young talent, and I don't think I know it all. You feel me? So I kind of go with that flow. I do all my writing I have. So killing a beat is nothing. Writing there. So with Richie, he'd be coming up with dope choruses and hooks, and he'd be like, yo, you like that? I'd be like, yo, that's incredible. So I think that I understand my role and my purpose in the industry. I kind of was able to put my little ripple, my wave in it, and continue to do that today, and understand my role, right, and what I bring to the game. But the game has totally changed. It's a lot better today to be an artist. I think it's a lot easier to get your music out because Instagram is free, Facebook is free, Twitter is free, TikTok
YouTube,
is free.
everything.
Your job as an artist is to create content. Well, guess what? These phones are so dope. You can shoot a video with your phone. You can record music. So there's no reason not to, if you want to become an artist. I just feel like people want to do it overnight. And that kind of was, when, if you don't really love this, then you'll quit. If you really love this, then you'll figure out how to make it part of your life some way, somehow.
So you mentioned Washington Heights before. We're from Washington Heights. The show's based out of Washington Heights originally. A lot of people send me text messages saying Don Dinero's my dude. Much love to that guy. Can't wait to watch the episode. And through the grapevine, they said Don Dinero was a G-Dubs football player.
Yeah. I was playing quarterback, man. For Mr. Walsh, I also played. We had a semi-pro team out there too. The Falcons. We played.
Yeah.
I played football. All my sons. They, my oldest son, as you see, he was a Hall of Famer for college
Plays in
basketball.
Puerto Rico.
But he's Hall of Famer college basketball in his school, his conference. My other son over here, Z. He's in RPI now, one of the top universities when it comes to academics. He also plays college football. I got one who plays high school football. So football's been a way or two. It gave me a lot of discipline. It's a sport that you're able to be violent, but at the same time, be a gentleman because you have to have certain respect for the game or the opponent. So, football is something that I love. I'm a Bills fan, so I just went through
I was about to bring that up
on Sunday. Yeah, but I'm the type of person, being a Babalao, Lula always says, de lo peor que suceda lo mejor. So the whole thing about it is, if you would have told me at the beginning of the season, when I didn't think we were going to have a season, with all the COVID shit that was going on, that would you take them losing to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, getting there? I would say yes, compared to us losing in overtime in the first round to the Texans, right? Yeah. Life is about growth. And if you ask me, have we grown as a team? We have. Would I have loved to be playing this week in the Super Bowl? Everyone who has a football team would love to be playing in the Super Bowl, right? Isn't that why we watch and we root our teams, hoping to win a Super Bowl? But in life,
didn't even make the playoffs, so it's all right. I was rooting for the Bills. I'm a Giants fan,
what team are you?
Giants fan. I'm a Giants fan.
All right, that's okay. Giants, Jets, Buffalo was terrible. I think it's just about life is, can you weather the storm? Can you still be loyal to something while things are not going great?
Talking to a Knicks and Mets fan, so we.
Right, so definitely character's been tested. I just want to tell you that that when you ask me about football myself, I played football, but what football gave me was that ability to take a loss, clean myself up, and keep going, get punched in the mouth or sacked, and you got to get up and get ready for the next play. So I've used football to raise my kids, and it's helped me raise them and into the men they are, the men they're becoming to be. So definitely G-Dubs, you know what I'm saying, till I die. Actually, look, my original high school football jersey is hanging. I bought this in 1985. See, it says Gitian, cost me $100 in 1985. That jersey, that high school jersey. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm definitely G-Dubs all the way.
That's a classic jersey right there.
Yeah, it's a classic, my brother. That jersey's what?
That's the OG Trojans.
85, 95. Yo, that's going to be
85.
almost 40 years old come 2025, homeboy.
Yo.
Let's talk about the Cuban Connection. I like to look at albums as a totality, from 1 through 9. Richie does stand out. The beats are crazy. Richie's going to be on the show February 16th, by the way.
Dope.
Looking forward to that. Richie does stand out. But out of the 9 songs, I said it earlier, like a good 7 of them to me are straight bangers. I play the album from beginning to end. And each song has a story. Babalua, I connect with, my wife. She was born on San Lazaro Day, and she is Cuban. So, like,
wow.
I got like that.
Does she love the song? She loves the song.
She loved the record. I was like, babe, you gotta hear this
You seen
song.
the video too, right? You seen the
Yeah,
video?
I saw the
the
video.
video's dope. Again, I'm gonna tell you a story about the video. So I'm like, yo, we gotta shoot the video. My boy Matt, same thing. Matt went to high school with my son Jose in Miami.
Yeah.
So a lot of kids and people I still deal with, I've seen Matt with his camera for years, always. So Matt knows how to bring out my vision. I was like, Matt, I want to do this. And man, that video, we did that one part of my house in Hialeah. But man, that video came out dope. And the beautiful thing about music and videos today is that once you put it out, internet on the web, it's out forever, right? So people can see it forever. So that's a work of art. That Baba Luaye video is a work of art. That song is a tribute to San Lázaro, but we kind of did it our way, right? Hip hop with a touch of Cuban, and it was dope. So I'm kind of glad that you like that
jersey.
record.
The colors went with
it's dope. It's a dope sound. The colors go with the
my
sound.
question is that the San Lázaro that they use during, because they do like a parade on December 17th in Miami or in Hialeah for San Lázaro.
Right.
Is
right,
that
but the parade, but they don't know. That's the San Lázaro that's in the main Rincon. That place is called. Everyone knows that place. It's called Rincon de San Lázaro because it's like a church, San Lázaro Church. But what you're saying is that it's a parade, but also it's kind of, there's a lot of people who have to walk on their knees and their hands all the way through, and they show up with blood cut up. So it's kind of like a promise. A lot of people are going through stuff, and they promise, St. Lazarus, or as human beings, we all kind of put our energy or our power and give it to someone else, right? A lot of religions say give it to God or give it. So, St. Lazarus has that power for Cubans, and he's healed a lot of people, and he's created a lot of miracles based on someone's faith. So I think that was a dope tribute. It'll be out forever. We can sing that anywhere we go. And I'm glad you like it. And I'm glad you like the album as a whole, man.
As a totality,
what I was trying to create is that if you listen, I dropped an album the year before called A la Buena a la Mala.
A la Buena a la Mala, yeah.
And that also had dope concepts that I actually shot 5 videos for those. I think that was another 9 or 11 records, and I shot like 5 videos for that. So right now I have 3 videos shot for this album, and I'm gonna shoot 2 more, which I'm gonna shoot with my man with Kiki. You already know Loud City Farms, Torres. I got Yo Quiero Volar is a dope record. So we're gonna shoot that video.
So how this happened is Torres, that's like my brother. He was going to Miami every once in a while. He's like, yo, Don Dinero has something that's gonna come out that is crazy. You gotta hear it. And then he did music a long time ago, and he wanted to get back into it.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, I actually jumped on a song with Don Dinero. I was like, you did what? You did music again?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, wait till you hear it though.
Yeah.
And when I heard,
because I can also remember I can spot talent, and I can understand that sometimes in life, because we gotta raise families, make money, we get focused on making bread, and we forgot. So I'm people that are around me, I could feel whether the music attracts you or not. I know guys who are about the money. Show me, D, you got an artist? I'll put $100 grand on an artist, but he better make me money. They don't give a fuck about the music. They're not gonna tell me, oh, that shit is hot. They don't have that ear. Like then you have other people that are artists that you be like, yo, you got a dope voice. To me, Torres sounds like Arik Angel in a weird way. He has that voice.
And that's the dude he looks up to. He loves
right. So I, when I seen that, and if you hear the record we did, Yo Quiero Volar, I did some of the writing there for the chorus and put that together. And I think his record with the beat produced by Richie and me and Richie on it has a dope sound. So we're gonna shoot that video, and I think that's the difference between me. Most artists at my level, I could go talk to Don Omar, drop him a bag and get a record from him. You feel me? But again, I always try to do a record with the young dudes who are coming up, who look at me like I'm Don Omar, right? I got a record with Don Dinero, and I go and I put it out. You feel me? So that's kind of how I cater my thing,
You always been an independent artist.
Yeah, my entire life.
Talk about why was that important for you? I mean, on the record, you made a preference, like, I didn't suck nobody's dick. I did things my own way.
Right. Well, the interesting thing is when I first came out, because of what I was doing Latin hip hop.
Yeah.
Not only were there no labels, I want you to understand that we're looking for Latin because there were no Latin hip hop artists. You had Mexicano in Puerto Rico and Rico C. And because he was going to Colombia, going down, but the labels thought they was like, these niggas is Mickey Mouse. Like they didn't believe in them like that, where they was going to sign them and put money. They were popping in Puerto Rico doing their thing. So when I come with the Que Vola album, you know, Ignorance is Bliss, I didn't know that there was no programming. Like I was up against programming on radio. I was up against a bunch of shit. And I just had a vision, bro. I just felt like you know, because being up and down at that time, I was up and down with guys from Terror Squad and seeing how the energy was with Latinos, I was like, man, there's a need in the market for Spanish language rap.
Oh,
And
most definitely, because there was a ton of
that's
young guys
late
that want to get into
90s,
music. Yeah.
late 90s, early 2000s. So when I finally come to Miami to finish the Que Vola album, and Domingo was a dope piano player, and we start working on all these records, again, Domingo, putting him on a record, nobody knew who he was, but he had talent to sing and
He was
produce.
on a fun record too, right?
Yeah, Flowers for the Dead.
Yeah.
So you know, that was just a dope experience, bro. And to come out here and that whole album just blow the way it did, Pana Pana get on radio and take off, you know, sell a ton of records and really see the game change. I think that was a dope experience. I was just super early. I was like Roberto Clemente, right? I was super early in the game. But when you mentioned independent, the reason I was independent is because no label wanted to sign me. By the time I sold all those records, Universal came in and gave me a licensing deal to license the same record because I wasn't willing to sign to anyone. And then I waited another 2 years before I did my joint venture. I was the first guy in the Spanish music industry to do a joint venture with a label. And I did Don Dinero Music, Universal Music, and that was 2 albums. And then boom, after that, I was like, everything was reggaeton. And I wasn't going to do reggaeton just to get on radio. Program directors was telling me, man, I like Arte La Calle, but if you're doing reggaeton, I play it. I wasn't willing to do that. You know, I was like, man. So I kind of just kept grinding. And since I own my own stuff, you know, Cali was showing love. There were Colombia, other places showing love, hit the road, grind, and kept grinding. I've never stopped, kept dropping albums, kept doing what I had to do. So
Owning all your masters. So that means
I own all my intellectual
so that
property.
means you're still getting a check off of all them old records.
I make all the money. I'm still in fights with other situations because sometimes they try to claim here and there. You got to fight, but that's part of ownership. But I own all my intellectual property. The reason that I continue to drop records is because that's kind of like my 401k, right? That's how my money as I get older. But the beautiful thing about music, and once you own it, that it makes money forever to the year 5,999, say, when the world blows up, let's say, right? Right? You'll make money. That means when I'm not here on this planet, I'll still be making money. Those checks will go to my kids. And then when my kids go, my grandkids will get the checks. And my great grandkids, you understand? You have to understand, why do labels want to own your intellectual property? They give these artists a lot of money up front. You know, and a lot of these big artists, they have big marketing campaigns because they have so much money invested in them that they have to. That's how they're going to get their ROI. In business, it's called ROI, return on investment.
Yeah.
And, you know, so it's kind of like buying a $300,000 house to put $50,000 to fix it, to sell it for $500,000.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of like someone says, but why are you going to spend $300,000 on a house? You're crazy. You're like, what do you mean I'm crazy? And not only am I spending $300,000, I'm going to put another $50,000 to fix it because I'm selling it for $5,000 to make a buck. So it's how you think. Me, myself, it's as an independent, I tell guys, it's a slow grind, right? It's a drop in the bucket, nonstop, always creating. So I'm always dropping projects because that's how I'm always going to continue to create content, you know?
There's a famous story. Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney were recording in a studio, and Michael asked Paul, well, what can I do to make more money? And Paul said, well, you could buy artists' masters because there's a ton of money in that. So then it was the point where the Beatles masters became available. Michael bought it, all the Beatles masters.
Yeah.
So then they going back to do another session on that same record. And he's like, thanks for that advice, man. I went and I bought all the Beatles records, all your masters.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney looked at Michael Jackson. I think still to this day, Michael owns it. His
yeah, no, I mean, to mention that when you say Michael Jackson is a perfect example of the #1 performing catalog last year was Michael Jackson's. And where is Michael Jackson? He's not on this planet, right?
No.
So because he owns the Beatles, his portfolio, whatever other masters he's purchased, he had the #1 performing catalog, because that's how you know who's making what, right? So, you know, a lot of artists, you know stories when they say, tell me what artist. The latest artist we mentioned, Lil Wayne, went through something with Baby because he got
wouldn't let him
robbed.
go. Yeah.
No, he got robbed. Think about the only industry. Hip hop is the only industry you can get truly robbed, right? Because they know you write your own verses. They know, so they say, here's 5,000 for you. Don't know. Here's a young kid who's never seen nothing. They offer him 150,000. He's signing on the dotted line, Papa.
And
right?
that advance is just a loan. You got to pay that back. People
Right.
think.
Well, it's a terrible loan with fucked up interest. And once you do pay it back, you don't get to keep the property. Remember
Exactly.
that. But also, you know, what is the two things the artists want? And for those two things, they'll sign anything. They want to be seen and they want to be heard. If you could promise them everyone's going to see you, everyone's going to hear you, you're going to be a star, bing, bing, bing. And it comes with a check. They might be sitting on their mom's couch laying, waiting for that dream to happen, because you're dealing with people's dreams now with the music. You know, that's important to understand. You're dealing with people's dreams. So when you see where we're at right now today, you know, I can't tell you, yo, independent is the route, because that one check can change your life, but everyone has to start off independent. So
With
if you start off
JC,
independent, you create your own buzz,
yeah,
you become your own guy, try to keep your masters and negotiate licensing deals instead of master ownership, and be like, all right, listen, you can control this master, right? I'll license you my music for 5 years. How many albums you want in 5 years? You want 3 albums? All right, boom. For those 5 years, you can control them, move them around. 5 years later, you give me back my masters. Like, that's a different business. That'll work. So you get what you negotiate.
but
Bottom line.
it takes
That's key.
not even lawyers, entertainment lawyers, because you could run into an entertainment lawyer that works for the label, and they
Right.
get you in a deal that's not even worth it. It takes artists like you speaking up, educating younger artists that are coming up on what they should be looking for.
You know, it's
Not
funny
not
when you
just a check.
mention entertainment lawyers, right? I want to ask you this question. Think about this. Think about every deal, major deal. I'm not talking about the guy who signed to Little Booby Records in South Carolina
Yeah.
for fucking 10 stacks and a chain. I ain't talking about that. So every artist, no, I ain't talking about a deal, because those are all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm talking about real contract deals. Think about how many deals artists have signed with major labels or subsidiaries that are with major labels, and everyone had a lawyer that told them, yeah, go ahead, sign that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everyone had a lawyer that told them, go ahead. You can't do a major deal without a lawyer.
Yeah.
And every lawyer told the artist, looked them in the face and said, go ahead and sign, nigga. So think about every deal is bad. We just had the Young Stallion, we had this one, we had, every deal is bad, and every deal is attached to what? A lawyer.
Lawyer. Because
That
they get their
told him
piece of the
what?
pie no matter
That
what.
told him it's all right, signing a dotted line, even though I know you're giving up your intellectual property. So something that my mentor, Chris Gotti, shout out to Chris Gotti, Adventure Music, you know, that he always pushed is for contracts to be simplified. Why all this crazy jargon, licensee, licensor? Well, you lucky I'm an expert at reading contracts. And sometimes when I don't know something, I'll highlight it, send it to my lawyer so he can explain it so I can learn. See, it's different. I think that you should read your contract, and if you don't know, highlight. Then call your lawyer and say, yo, what is this? What does in perpetuity mean? That means forever, motherfucker. Yeah, it's a lot easier to, oh shit, I'm giving you my rights forever? Yeah, in perpetuity, if you understood that word, right? So I think that's kind of what we've done. You know, with Adventure, we went on the road, we empower and educate independent artists, but then again, we're dealing with genre of artists in rap that are not coming from Harvard. They're coming home from the penitentiary or from the county jail, and they sit in front of you with the Versace belt, the new Gucci jacket, the hat, but they're not willing to spend $300 on themselves. They're not willing to, I gotta do what? I gotta, you know what I'm saying? So it's a difficult to get them to understand that independent means you put the bag on yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now you're not just worried about rapping. Now guess what? Do you know what I had to do to get distribution to come up? How many records, how much money I spent to find the Universal, put my records in all the stores?
I think what you're highlighting though is not everybody's willing to put in that work though. Like not everybody's willing to be the to run the business that is what it means to be an artist now, like an independent artist. Because you're describing you had the work ethic and the know-how to be like, you know what, I'm gonna be an artist, but I'm also gonna be a
businessman on the side.
But I mean, I had to learn the business at a moment because I seen so much bullshit. I learned how to read contracts. I learned a lot and I always try to pass on that knowledge to the younger kids. And especially today, today's a lot more challenging because back then, man, I dropped Pana Pana. La Que Vola album was such a classic. I wrote out for 3 years with that album, touring, doing whatever. Now, you can't do that. If obviously I'm not at the height. If I was the height of these guys, you got to be like Bad Bunny. You're gonna have to drop 3 albums. You're gonna have to do Anuel and Ozuna, come together, drop an album, and then turn around and drop their own. Like you got to put a lot of work in. Me, myself, I think last year I put a ton of work in to get ready for this album. I got a ton of other things that I'm working on now. Especially I have a book that I'm finishing up called 16 Lessons, La Formula, 16 Lessons. So I got the English and Spanish done, the audio book, English and Spanish. I'm working on the animation series. So I continue to drop projects. I'm gonna help Richie. Richie's dropping his project. I'm helping. I'm still doing a ton of featurings. But I'm just kind of this year is more focused on keep pushing the clothing line. You know, I have these new bubble jackets I'm about to drop. I'm only doing 24, 8 of each color.
Yo, that Cuban Connection gear is fly though, man.
Stay right here. I'm gonna show you something that no one's seen yet.
Let's go.
And I'm gonna show you. So this is inspired by my Buffalo Bills, but there's a bubble coats that are coming out. See how dope it is. You know what I'm saying? So these are things that are going to be coming out soon. You know, boom. Cuban Connection, Bob. So I'm only doing 8. I'm only doing 8 of each, and then the classic all, to be honest. And then the classic all black.
Let's go. I like the blue.
These are the samples. I got samples here that I'm finishing up. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I didn't put because I put so much time. I'm going to put more time into that. Sometimes when you're doing so much, but I get a great response off of the Cuban Connection gear, and it's about staying on top of creative. But definitely that book. I think I'm gonna go on a motivational tour once all the COVID shit goes out, and I was putting together something called Soy Dueño, which is also a tour to empower and educate independent artists to let them know, hey, if I ask you about your music, you should say yo soy el dueño, soy dueño. You feel me? And I think propiedad intelectual, intellectual property, words that artists need to start learning and understanding, because I'm going to give you numbers, just facts. There's 22 million independent artists in the United States. Less than 1% will ever sign a major record deal. So if you know numbers, less than 1%, that means there's 21 million, about 900-something thousand people that will never sign a deal. What do they do with their dream of being an artist or having their music heard? And there's 2 things artists want. They want to be seen and heard. Well, now, in today, you can get, you know, for Adventures, you got to pay a fee. United Masters is free. DistroKid is free. There's free distribution to be heard. So, I mean, people can hear your music on Spotify, Apple Music, all the platforms. Spotify is like Walmart, right? If I told you, hey, you do hats? Oh, you do beanie hats? Would you like to get your beanie hats in Walmart? You'd be like, ching, I got to find a manufacturer because Walmart's about to order 10,000 hats, right? How do I get them? So, you know, the good thing about digital music now, you don't have to create CDs, flyers, everything's digital, you know? And
upfront cost is much.
You have YouTube. You shoot a video, you could be seen on YouTube with your video. So now you can be heard and you could be seen for free. You just got to put in the time and the effort. So I think that today you're in a different era of being an artist, and even us being able to have this interview. I never say no to no interviews. I never check whether you have 10 million followers or you don't. My whole thing is, oh, they're Latinos, they're from the Heights, it's love, let's do it, let's put it out there. And that's I think that's the level. We're such at the beginning level of Latinos in this game, even though Bad Bunny's gotten here and there. I'm telling you, where we're going is gonna go super, super fast.
I feel that. And yo, we appreciate you coming on too. Rick got a couple of segments that I know he's dying. I can see the look in his face.
Nah,
He just wants to do. Look, he's reading the segments. I can see it. Look. Tell me,
yeah,
what you want to do?
I'm producing a whole bunch of things at the same time.
Do?
I still want to talk about the Cuban Connection record. You mentioned Ella, which is one of my favorite tracks.
Ella. Ella dice que me ama.
Y Sueño Americano is something that every single Latino could relate to.
That's a dope record. That's what Trigger Mike and Richie.
Babalua, yeah, Richie's on that. The one with Torres is
Yo Quiero Volar.
Yo Quiero Volar.
Yeah, Richie's on there too, spitting a verse.
Richie's
on the whole album. I ain't gonna lie, like one of the reasons I did this album too is to showcase a lot of Richie's talent as a producer and an artist.
And Donde Quiera that you did with Richie and Rosana Iglesias, that record is incredible.
Yeah, that's a dope record too. Video, everything. Yes, I agree.
I'm Dominican. My wife's Cuban. My son is Cuban, Puerto Rican, and Dominican now, so he has all three islands together.
Right.
But I was telling Torres this. It has that Miami feel, that 305 feel, but it also has a Latino feel to it too.
Yes.
And it's hip hop. There's certain artists, like you were at that crossroads when Don Omar came out, Daddy Yankee came out. We had Reynolds on the show, the first episode of the season. Reynolds was at that same doorstep where he was doing hip hop. He's Dominican from the Heights, and labels were telling him, you should do a reggaeton record, or you should do a reggae record, or you should do this, you should do that. And he chose not to, and he chose to continue making music. Pitbull was at that same venture, and he took it a different route. But I feel
and it was
like
successful for him, and it worked out for him. God bless him.
Yeah. But I feel like you and Reynolds stuck to your guns. Like you wanted to do hip hop music. This is what you got into the game to make. But you also
I also understood the business, and I understood since I owned my masters and that was my formula. I understood it was my brand. When you thought of Don Dinero, you thought of Latin hip hop. If I distorted my brand, I wouldn't be sitting here today with the longevity or the respect. You understand? Trust me. So it took, since I understood I own my intellectual property, I knew I would take a hit now. But even to this day, my biggest songs that I make the most money maker is Pana Pana and Desahogo, and that's 2002. That's almost 20 years ago, right? So that's ownership. That you have a record that you did 20 years ago, still making more money than the records you did today, right? Those are classics. I own the same.
I think with this one, with this one.
No, again,
this album. This album.
The album's doing great. The numbers are doing great. But what I tell you is, what happens is, when I get new fans that listen to this, they go listen to Pana
and they go back,
right. So it's part of that, and that's part of ownership. Also, catalog. You go to Spotify, you're gonna see a ton of records, a ton of albums. That's why guys have to build their catalog. I would tell everyone to build their catalog. I would tell young artists to try to drop 1-2 albums a year. In 10 years, you have 20 albums building your catalog, right? If what happened to Cardi B, I was involved in a lot of the stuff with CJ now in the Whoopty with my man James Cruz and I seen guys like CJ, Cardi B, that's God touching you. Sometimes you get the right record, you at the right spot, everything lines up. James Cruz happened to be CJ's uncle, right?
Yeah.
That's you understand, and he can go to 2 or 3 DJs and say boom. That has to be like everything lines up, right? That's that 1% out of 22 million.
For sure.
That's like Lotto. How many people play the Lotto? Everybody. How many people won the Lotto? No fucking.
Not too many.
Everything just aligns that perfect. Like you said, like for Cardi, that record, that the Bodak Yellow.
Bodak Yellow. I didn't think
it was just like.
Come on, Whoopty, same thing. Like it's just records that God puts their hands on, and you go. Te fuiste, boom. Now what? So the Young M.A. had that one record. Ooh, or
Yeah.
whatever it was, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is that that's the way this business is. It's always been that way. Now it's even easier because of the internet. So now, but everyone wants that. So they put out a record, they think it's gonna blow. It doesn't blow, and then they like, put out another one, put out another one, put out another one. Don't stop.
You think it's gonna be difficult for CJ to drop? I mean, he's gonna drop Bop.
No, he
But
just
after,
dropped Bop. Now it's
yeah,
like a million hits. I don't know. You're using words as difficult as that. Again, are the people. If the same amount of people that gravitated to Whoopty gravitate to this, he'll be straight. It's too early to tell. Let's see if Bop takes off.
yeah.
It's a dope record, though. It's a good record. It's not a bad record. Feel me? But we're going to see what the people say.
It's
Because
like
when Bodak Yellow came out, I didn't think Cardi was. I was like, that's her one.
It's like the
And
story. Like
she proved me wrong.
Yo, it's like 6ix9ine too, bro. To be honest.
I mean, everyone has their journey and their story, and everyone is totally different on how they make it. Yeah. You can't predict the next one. You could just keep trying. The music game is crazy. Some of them, look at the kid who did that record, that cowboy record 2 years ago that blew up.
Little Nas X.
And then he's nowhere to be found right now. Little Nowhere X. Little Nowhere X, right? And he had the biggest record in the world. So, you know, this game is it's a game, my brother, right? Some people hurt their knees, their ankles. Some people do Tom Brady and go to 10 Super Bowls, right? That's Kanye West. That's Drake. Drake is the GOAT right now, Tom Brady, you know? Jay-Z flipped his hip-hop business made himself a mogul, a businessman, right? Hip-hop has saved so many lives. Managers, look at you guys with your own radio show and TV show and podcast with through hip-hop, utilizing the content of hip-hop. So I think at the end of the day, that's what I'm most grateful for, where I came in as a Latin hip-hop artist, always hope the hip-hop flag. I love reggaeton, just like I love bachata, just like I love merengue, just like I love salsa, just like I love dembow. But when you ask, what do I prefer to create my music on, is hip-hop. Now, I've done, you know, features here and there, and depending on the beat and the artist, I'll get on it. But you know, I'm gonna continue to do my part, and you know, I have a production deal with Rock Nation. I do a lot of things with other people. I'm building management, so I'm gonna continue to consult and try to help artists make their dreams come true.
Now, congratulations on Cuban Connection.
Thank
you. Let's because that's a classic. I don't like to use that word too often.
It's a good.
It heightens the expectations to other people, but to me, it's up there.
I mean, I appreciate that you really felt that way. Again, if you listen to a lot of my music, I think I've always created albums that have concepts, meanings. Every song has a tier. How I even line them up to 9, how I give them to you, is a certain way to build up. And again, I appreciate in a world that's so much content that you couldn't want to continue to listen to that type of content. And it's like music for your soul. It has soul in it too. You know, it's soulful. It's different.
It opens your eyes to other artists. Benny Bermuda.
Oh, yes.
Richie. Yes. I thought Richie. I heard the album about 3 or 4 times, and I sent Richie a message like, "Yo, I love the work that you put in this album."
Yeah, man. That's why you got to interview him. That's why I do it. I do things like that for you guys to see the talent that's out there. You know, Richie has so much love and respect for me because he's like, man, no one's ever tried. And I'm like, listen, you know, I wish I was Puffy and I was in a position with these major labels to go out there. But I'm like, fuck, I really don't want you to sign a major label deal. I want you to go through this route so you can learn the business. And, you know, so because that's kind of, because I know at the end of the day, if a major label came right now, guess what they're going to want? They're going to want to own his intellectual property. So he's going to have to make a deal for a check. He might need that check. And I'm going to be like, you know, as long as you know what you're giving up, right? Because the reason artists feel robbed is because they didn't know they gave up all their rights.
Yeah, at least you can make an informed decision about it. You can
negotiate certain terms of the deal. Mm-hmm. You know, so but now Richie's talented. There's a lot of talented guys. I'm really glad you guys listened to this album and broke it down. That's dope.
So we got a couple segments we're gonna run through right now. I think let's do this or that first. So this is about hip hop, the Cuban culture. Let's go with the first one, Justin. Now, can you see Justin's screen?
I see you.
Let me
I don't
pin.
see Justin.
Yeah, let me pin. Do
Do I
you
gotta
see?
move it over?
No, no. Do you pin? Do you see him now? He's the. He should be the main screen now.
No, you're still the main screen.
All right. So the first one says Miami or New York.
Okay, me, I have to say Miami.
Miami. Miami over New York. Give us a reason why.
The weather, the weather, the weather's the only reason. The beach, vacation. You know, I love New York. I love New York, but come on, let's be honest. How many guys? Why is Miami Miami? Because everyone from New York says I'm moving to Miami.
Miami.
So I ain't the only one, but you know, I ain't gonna lie. I've been in Miami since 1975. So
Wow.
many
Yeah,
years.
but half of New York is definitely down there. Like half of New York.
Most of New York.
So
Memorial Day and Labor Day. That's
yeah, but a lot of people move out there because it's a different vibe. Right? Miami definitely over New York.
So let's go with the next one, Justin. Oh, this is Cohibas / tobacco or rum.
Well, you know what I mean. When you say Cohibas, bro, if I show you cigars that I have,
So
look,
tobacco is rum.
look, Cohiba,
Okay.
and these are Splendidos. I got Romeo and Juliet's. I got you know what I'm saying. So that's what I do with cigars. I got Romeo. This is Romeo and Juliet. Monte Cristo.
You will go with the Monte Cristo. You will go with the cigars.
Yeah, I would go with cigars over the rum, definitely.
Let's go. Me too. I think I'll do
definitely cigars over the rum.
Which was okay? So football or basketball?
You know this.
Football all day. Football.
I got a picture of the Bills there and the Miami Heat.
Football all day. I'm actually a Laker fan.
Lakers. Oh, yeah, because you had the Magic jersey on.
Rest in peace, Kobe.
Rest in peace, Kobe.
Rest
1 year today.
Kobe, man. Yeah.
1 year today. Oh man, this is gonna be hard. Caldo gallego or ropa vieja?
No, ropa vieja. My grandma used to do that all the time. Ropa vieja. I have to take ropa vieja.
Yeah, I never had caldo gallego.
You never had caldo gallego? It's really good. It's really good. Ropa vieja, I've had a bunch of times.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, ropa vieja that's my favorite. Well, one of my favorites.
Let's go to the next one, Justin.
Last one.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, well, the last one is supposed to be Latin trap or hip hop.
Well, I mean, you know, it's the same thing. I mean, you know, Latin trap is hip hop. It's just, you know, it's a trap sound.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I would have to always say hip hop, but it's not. There's no different, you know, because when you listen to a Latin trap song, it's a hip hop record.
Yep.
So let's go
I feel like that about Latin trap. I feel like it's a subgenre of hip hop. Like it belongs inside hip hop.
When you say Latin trap, you're just saying production.
Yeah.
It has trap music production and they're spitting in Spanish. That's it, you know.
So let's go to distorted photos. These are 5 images from your career that we have distorted.
Cool.
Justin, I think you might have to talk because it won't show up unless you talk.
All right, first one.
Fuck if I know that. I don't know. That's it. That's not distorted. You can't even see shit. Distorted is distorted. That's like
you gotta think about the colors that you see right there.
I see gold and black in that, but for me to remember what the hell was gold and black, I'll never.
What is it? I don't even know what picture.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's I think Premio Lo Nuestro years back.
Yeah. You still got that hat, bro?
Nah, bro. That was some stuff we did for Block Royal, and then I had that diamond razor blade and the Block Royal chain. Yeah, I used to do my thing. I used to walk. I was the only rapper in the red carpet.
Classic look, bro.
I was the only rapper in the red carpet back then. They used to thought I was crazy, bro. I show up with all my boys that give me 4 tickets. I got dudes who just came home from prison walking red carpets. They thought I was nuts. I was crazy back then. I was.
Let's go to the next image, Justin.
Yeah, how do you expect me? Look, yo, you guys are the worst. What the fuck am I supposed to come up? If I had money here, I'd be broke right now.
I'm trying to.
Red, white, and blue. I'm gonna take a guess. Fuck, bro. I don't know. I don't know. I would have never guessed the other one. So this with
You-
blue.
I distorted this image, and I don't know which one this is right now.
Exactly. I don't know what you're doing with these. Like I feel like,
Yeah, look at this shit. There's no way. How do you come up with that one?
This is from Plug-in
From the
Cuba.
video shoot for Plug in Cuba? Yeah, with Benny. Benny's a dope guy right there. Dope ass artist.
That's a great video, by the way. It's a nice little
Yeah, I mean, I think
extended
you seen. I
version
don't know if
of
you've
it.
seen both versions, but it's a movie
I
version and a
saw the
regular
movie version. Yeah, that's the one I saw. I didn't see. I saw the movie version, the extended one. That's why I like it so much.
Yeah. I did that, and just to do something different. It took me 4 days video shoot, cost more money, but I think at the end of the day, it's worth it. And since I own it, right, the important thing is,
Yeah.
I think we could even do a movie called Plug in Cuba. You know what I'm saying? I think that's
film.
what dope.
That's a short film that you guys did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I did a
I
short
think it's
film.
like 5-6 minutes long. The
Yeah,
other
it's about
video's
6
like,
minutes long.
yeah.
I took a 2-minute video, turned it into a 6-minute mini movie is what I
Yeah.
did.
What's the next image, Justin? I think this one will be a lot easier.
This I think the cover of my album, I would say.
Let's go. Let's undistort this photo.
Oh, cover of my album. Look, okay, voila. Okay, voila. I got one, homeboy.
Let's go with the what's this? The fourth one? Oh,
Ah, that's me, Babalua. Yeah, standing in front of us in the little gift shop next to the St. Lazarus church.
Let's go.
yeah. The
Yeah,
cape.
that one was easier, bro. Those are better like that. The other ones were like what the
At least
fuck?
you can see an image in this.
Fuck, he wanted me to. This is distorted. The other one was you're not getting it.
That cape is custom made, right? Correct.
Yeah, actually, I
Lazaros.
have it.
Yo, that's some fly shit, bro.
Actually, I have it in the bag there because I just made some moves in the office. I have it in the bag there, and yeah, I bought it custom made. They made it. It cost me like $350 to make it by hand.
It must be heavy.
That shit is fly.
It's dope too. It's dope. I did a tribute for St. Lazarus. You know, I think that you know, he always. Again, I'm a Babala, so I respect certain energies in saints. So St. Lazarus is someone I respect a lot.
That's real, bro.
And just coincidentally, the Lakers had 17 championships, and you had the 17 on the hat, and his day is December 17th.
Everything lined up, my brothers. You got it. See, those are codes that I put. Those that's like Illuminati. It's not for everyone. You got to catch that. But what you don't understand is in that hat. If I could find that hat is somewhere here. That hat, it has every year.
That the Lakers won a chip, yeah.
Every year. That's how that 17 is constructed with the years of when they won the championship.
So, and the Lakers won their 17th championship this year. So it
2020.
This photo, I think you could kind of make out.
It has an American flag, so I'm assuming it's, I don't know, maybe. I don't know. Let's see.
Let's undistort this one.
Yeah, me. You know, I'm a veteran, boss. The young Don Dinero.
You lived an interesting
U.S. Army veteran, man. Proud. You know, I served my country early.
Yo, that's
high school football. Army
I was
veteran.
active duty during the first Iraq War in '89, and you know that I got so many of those things that got engraved in me throughout my life. I still get up every day at a certain time in the morning. I make my bed. I have to. So just certain things that I do because of my military background that I thank for that training. It gave me a lot of discipline that I needed at the time. And I try to instill that in my kids also.
Yo, that's amazing. You lived a fucking crazy life, bro.
Yeah.
Man, if I tell you all the shit, yo.
we need a Don
Dinero
biopic. Yo,
you want to laugh? I come home from the military and like a year and a half later, I get locked up. They give me 10 years. For, you know, I was doing Scarface shit. You know, I was doing what I was supposed to. They gave me, and because of me going to prison, I started rapping. And without that, I don't become Don Dinero. Ain't that some shit? Oh, I got a story for you, bro.
That's
biopic, bro. We got to write that script.
Listen, I'm looking for a script. Right? I want to tell you, my partner, my partner and mentor, Chris Gotti's like, yo, you got to do a movie about your life. Yo, it's crazy. It's a dope. You know, think about it. I decided to do that. I start doing Spanish rap. I put an album together and I blow open an entire market. You have to understand that my music didn't even fit the programming and I got put onto, no, listen, it's bananas, bro. You know, all my kids have accomplished dope because I'm a fan of my kids, bro. You know, like when you really Life you have to sacrifice. Everything in life has a reason, and my kids are so great, all of them. You feel me? And I also have 3 grandkids that I love that I'm gonna start raising the other 2 that are in Texas in a year or 2 when I'm done with my son. So really, my family is everything, and even being independent gives me that. For example, ask anybody. You can't book a show with me September, October, November. You can't book no shows. You know why? On the weekends, I'm watching high school and college football because my kids play. I'm not missing a game.
Yeah.
There's no dollar amount when they look in the stands and they see their father. There's no dollar amount because there's only a limited time of games. Now, if they get to play in the NFL, great, they keep playing. But once it's done, right? So there's just things that even time with I have my 19-year-old here. He didn't go away to college. He's doing homeschooling in college, and he's a Bills fan. He's been a Bills fan since he was little. Now he's 19. He can talk shit because they're winning. But the moments that we spend watching the game, you can't get those back, right? So, to me, life, as I gotten older, I started to realize that life is a series of moments. These moments right now, we hyped it up for a week. You were saying I'm coming on the show, but this is the only moment that counts. Then it's going to go by. Hopefully the words and the things I say resonate and stay with people and they can apply it in their lives, right? Life is a never-ending journey or struggle. As much as I could tell you, I could give you advice and tell you I know, the truth is none of us know shit. We're just trying shit. And I've probably failed more times than most people have tried. That's what just makes me a little bit different than other people. But life is a beautiful journey, man. And whatever you decide to do, just do it with love and respect and go hard and your dreams will come true.
I was watching before we did our episode. I do my homework. I watch interviews that you've done before. There was one interview where you did. I forgot the DJ's name. It's an internet radio show from Florida, and he was telling you that he had a heart attack a year before, and you was just dropping gems on basic things that he can do to get healthy. And you also brought up not only being healthy but being happy. Happy is something that nothing makes you happy. You said this in the same interview. You're like, you could be all your dreams could come true, but if you're not happy, what's that gonna do?
And look, we mentioned Anuel and these guys. They reached the pinnacle.
Yeah.
And they realized that didn't bring happiness, because you know what happiness is a choice of you getting up every day, and regardless of what you have, you're grateful and you're happy, and then you're grinding, right? You're not sitting there mad because this guy who's grinding got more than you. There's a reason why. So it's about attitude and energy, you know what I'm saying? And understanding that there's days that you're gonna feel sad. Something could happen in your life. How do you snap out of it? Everything is energy and choices that we make. Life is a series of choices and decisions that we make. And some of us make mistakes, and those mistakes cost us dearly. Guys they love their wives, they've never cheated. All of a sudden, they meet this girl, one thing they cheat, and it costs them their family, their kids, their house, and they never ever recover because they still dwell on the mistake, not knowing that maybe this was something bigger and better is coming, right? Life has to be that way. You put your mind and soul for everything. You go try to get the job, they don't give it to you. You have 2 choices. You can throw yourself on the ground and say, woe is me, no one gives a fuck. You know why? Everyone has their own problems. Or you can say, you know something? It must mean that something bigger and better is coming for me, right? If you're always if you're expecting great things to show up in your life, guess what has to show up? Great things, my brother. Life is actually what the fuck you say it is. In the book that I'm coming out, 16 Lessons, the formula, it's just a formula to kind of make you understand, certain things that I say. Like you hear sometimes people are home chilling in their house. They get a phone call from their homeboy to go to this party that they don't know about. Next you, and they go, boom, boom, boom. He gets shot, they're in an accident or something. I say some of those things in the book. Don't go where you're not invited. Don't go to certain places. Like, there's just certain formulas for you to live a long, fruitful life that are kind of secret sauce things that have to do with philosophy and Ifa. And I think that my journey, more than just music, more than just giving you a dope album, is to kind of give this wisdom that I have, and to pass it along to as many people as I can, to say, hey, happiness is a choice. Your life is what you say it is. You can't blame your circumstances. You can't blame anybody. But, there's 4 phases. You have to be happy mentally, physically, spiritually, A lot of people aren't happy with their bodies, but they're not trying to do anything about it. A lot of people are not happy with their finances, but they're not doing anything about it. So I choose happy over sad, and I choose grind over complaining. If you can do that, I guarantee you,
I mean, there's
your
there's
life
money
will
to be
be
made
better.
in a shirt with just saying grind over. Those two things
Again,
you just
in a
said.
shirt in your mind, but you
Yeah,
have to apply it. The
yeah.
worst thing is to have the knowledge
And
and
not
not
use it.
apply it.
Like that
You
Bronx
know,
Tale saying, the worst thing in life is a waste of talent.
I've gone into people's lives and I see they have a bunch of things, and then when you see their lives, they're miserable, and they have all the money in the world, or they have great job, and they're miserable. And then you start realizing, damn, they chose to be miserable because they choose to wake up every day and look at the board of all the things we don't have. See, if you check all the things you have, I'm happy. My mom is good, my dad, the people you love, my kids, remember, we have kids. The beautiful thing about kids is they also have dreams that they're trying to make.
Yeah.
So I always tell the forces or the powers or the energies or the universe that I deal with, that if I have a dream or something that I want that I want to accomplish, and there's only one dream you can give out, give it to one of my kids. Don't give it to me. I already have. I've achieved a lot in my life. I'm okay. I can. You understand? So if you do have kids, I don't know if you guys have kids, or
Yeah.
sometimes when you don't have kids, it's a lot easier to go through life. You're more selfish. But when you do, you start realizing little Billy wants to be a baseball player. Now I got to buy a glove, a bat, put him on a team. Now you got to support that dream. Now it's not just about your dream.
The dream.
His dream. Your wife has, or your girlfriend has a dream. Your brother has a dream. Guess what? We all have somewhere we want to go. And we utilize each other to get there. I say that in my book. We all need each other to survive.
Yo, it's a team.
That's the world. That's the universe. Imagine you going to, as an artist, to perform and there's no one there. That's COVID, right? Why they're not having shows in the middle of COVID? Because no one's going to show up. So without people, without audience, without each other, right now you're live, you have a YouTube audience, you have people listening. Without that interaction, you have nothing.
Exactly.
Right? And that's the understanding that we all need each other. Right? Everyone wants to be gangster, be mean, but all that really comes from a place of envy, hate. People beat you up, fucked you up, or did things to you. You heard that someone got shot or killed. So there's a lot of anger and hate out there in the world, my brother, but there's also love. There's loyalty, there's respect. You got to look for it, find it. You're not going to find it in everyone. Me, I'm a type of person, but because the way I think and the way I do, I'm alone. I be with my kids. I don't have a ton of friends. The people I deal with are minimal, even though I do deal with a lot of people when I go out or when I go to seminars or I go out on tour or whatever. But I start to understand that everyone has a journey. You're going somewhere. We all kind of joined today, and now we're going to keep it moving. My music, you might listen to my words on a daily basis through my music, but at the end of the day, we all have a responsibility to get to where we want to get. We all have a destiny. I say that in my book. We all have a destiny to fulfill. And what you don't know is that you don't know what your destiny is. That's why you choose your lifetime to find it. And when some people find it early, LeBron James found his passion early, which was basketball. I don't think that's his destiny. I think kind of like Kobe got taken away from us. They're going to do a lot more when they're away from the game. And they're all right. So we all have a journey. We all have something we want to do. Most people look at music because everyone wants to. Who doesn't want to be famous, bro? There's a price to pay for fame, though.
Yeah.
And that's the world we live in. We live in a world of likes and comments. The more likes, the more followers, the blue check, the art. Everyone wants to be certified, street certified, this certified, right? So those are the pressures of the world we're living in and our kids are living in, you know what I'm saying? So social media has really made us antisocial.
Yeah.
People, they break up with texts. They tell you, you know what I'm saying? No one does face-to-face anymore.
No more Dear John letters.
But I'm not going to sit here and complain and tell you it's a worse world. It's actually a better world.
Mm-hmm.
We can communicate like this. All three of us right now, we would have never been able to do this 10 years ago.
No, you're in Miami. Craze is in the Bronx. I'm in Queens.
No, I'm not in Miami. Even though I love Miami.
Oh, you're in Jersey right now?
I live in Jersey. I live in Jersey. I live in Jersey
Union
because I'm always
City.
in New York.
I was out there the other day, actually.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying. But definitely, my guys, you know, music is an extension of who we are, but we got to use those platforms to do more with our lives and create more. And
Nah,
I'm
we
right where I
appreciate the
want to
fact
be. I'm blessed where I'm at in my life, and I continue to build.
we appreciate the fact that you've taken that journey, like you took us through that journey that your life is taking now. I feel like we got to see kind of the fact that this is the like an evolution too. You know, like you went from being an artist and a businessman to now being able to take that business and teach other young artists and bring them up
Give
and
back, yeah.
highlight their skills. I feel like we really appreciate dudes like you, especially Latino dudes, coming into, you know, what the landscape is looking like now. I feel like we need more OGs like that.
But you know, I want you to understand that a lot of artists that are out there, um, even though they've been in the business for years, still don't really know the business. They just know they've been raped.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like there's artists that were with labels for 10, 15 years to say, hey, I'm free now, finally. So I just feel like, you know, it's my responsibility to educate and empower, because so many artists will not sign major deals. And I'm here to let them know no one's looking for you. No one will ever offer you a deal. Now what are you going to do with your music? You have platforms. You can keep creating. You can earn a living still doing what you love without being the most famous or the number one guy trending on Apple Music or whatever. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, Cuban Connection, the album. Look, you love it. As long as you love it, and I think, you know, Plug-in Cuba's probably at 100,000 streams now. And I'm gonna get my little numbers, and by the end of the year, I'll be at 1 million, maybe. But guess what? Everyone, the few people who did listen to it, love it, and that's what I'm cool with.
Connects.
But we never know. One record could blow and it takes off. That happens. The album goes to the stratosphere. But you know, I'm prepared for whatever. But at the end of the day, I do it because I still love the art, and we keep working, we keep grinding, and that's what it's all about, my brother. You feel me?
Appreciate you.
Well, Don, I appreciate you taking the time to do this episode with us.
So
We usually do 3, 2, 1, but I'm gonna skip the 3 and 2. And what's one thing you looking to accomplish in this year?
again, drop this book, bro. I'm finishing the animation. I'm
I'm
hoping
looking
by
forward to the book, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm hoping by this first quarter I'm done. You know,
Yeah.
January, February, March is the first quarter. So hopefully by April, I'll be done with the animation, because what I'm going to do is then I have to make a business decision. Am I going to put it out through distribution where I put the audiobook out through Spotify and everything else, put the physical book out, and then put the animation series through YouTube, so when everything drops, you can go wherever you want to get the information? Or do I do a deal with a publishing company to give it a bigger splash? So I have to figure those things out. But what I'm doing is I'm creating everything, so I have more leverage and I own all the intellectual property. So when I go to the meeting, I go with all my shit that I spend money on to say, hey, you know, how can we do business? So I don't know yet. It's a different world.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. It's owning intellectual property. I've been working on this now. I started this book writing in 2011. So we're going on 10 years now since I started. And it's a dope book, bro. It's a dope. And then, you know, has the audio version with my voice in English and Spanish. The animation is dope. And I think it's going to be something different.
We're looking forward to it.
As we talk right now, Plug-in Cuba is at 744,000.
Yeah,
So you might hit 1 million within a couple weeks.
Yeah, straight
Again,
up.
people have been telling me the numbers. I kind of do the work and just keep going forward.
Yes.
At times, I'll sit in my house for a day and scroll through movies and try to get ideas of what's out there and figure out how I can apply it to us as Latinos and figure that out. So I want to get into the movie and writing scripts and I really want to get into the movie aspect of it, because every movie has a soundtrack. You feel me? So again, it's just about evolving as an artist, as a human being. I'm a father first. My kids I love, and just being blessed for another day and keep grinding.
I want to thank you again for being on the show. congrats on the album. Pretty sure we're gonna be linking up again.
For sure.
Richie will be on February 16th, and I'm looking forward to the book. Honestly, if you're watching this interview, go back and watch Don's other interviews with other people. He always drops little gems here and there. So,
knowledge. He dropped a bunch of knowledge on us today, bro. We got a couple good snippets.
Again, I'm gonna tell both you guys, don't give up, keep pushing.
Appreciate you.
The concept of the rickshaw is dope. Again, we all have a journey, we all have dreams. I just wanted to contribute. When someone asked me, man, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here and be able to use your platform or utilize your platform to give my message. Yeah. And you know, like I always say, pa'lante siempre. You know, don't give up on your dreams. If you work hard every day, you know, and choose happy over sad, choose grind over complain.
Let's go.
Yo, things start lining up, Papa. You feel me?
Yeah.
And when the guy's arguing over the water's half full, half empty, just grab the cup and drink the water and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate you.
Again, bro.
Thank you again.
God bless you guys.
Mucha.
God bless.